Should you invest in the dogs of the Dow for 2025? The dogs of the Dow has been a theory that has been very popular after good years of performance, but unfortunately people lose interest during the bad years. The concept was made popular in 1991 by Michael O'Higgins as a simple way to be what I call a lazy value investor. The idea is from the Dow's 30 stocks, you invest in the 10 that have the highest yield, which in many cases can be due to a pullback in the stock price over the past year. The concept can make sense, but it's not foolproof, and there are years where you could lose more than if you just invested in the Dow Jones Industrials. People tend to forget that investing is a long-term strategy and should not be done for 1 year, but because of simplicity, investors have tried it from time to time. The strategy can be very volatile, and it can scare investors, which leads them to sell at the wrong time when they should, maybe be buying instead of selling. If you want to try the concept with an ETF, there is one called the Invesco Dow Jones Industrial Average Dividend ETF. It has around 300 million in assets, and its approach is similar. The exception is that opposed to equal weighting of the 10 highest yielding Dow stocks, it uses a weighted average on yield to invest in all stocks in the Dow that pay a dividend. If you're thinking of using the dogs of the Dow strategy for 2025, your first investment would be Verizon Communications with a yield of 6.8%. The other 9 would include Chevron, Amgen, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, Coca-Cola, IBM, Cisco Systems, McDonald's, and lastly, Procter & Gamble. If you try this concept, I believe it's best to do it in a tax-deferred account or a Roth IRA because you could have large taxable gains at the end of 1 year and each year thereafter. As I mentioned, it's also important to remember that it doesn't work every year. In fact, the dogs of the Dow have underperformed the Dow in 5 of the past 6 years. The year the strategy outperformed was in 2022 when it beat the Dow by 9.1%. If I had to place a bet, I believe the dogs of the Dow will top the Dow next year, considering they trade for an average forward PE of about 16, which compares to the S&P 500 at 22 times earnings. I'm Brett Wilsey with Wilsey Asset Management. If you like these videos, be sure to give it a like or comment, and feel free to check out our other YouTube videos and weekly newsletter for the latest economic news, expert analysis, and market insights.